Welcome guys to part 2 of the video. Let's get straight into it and have a look at the performance and the forgiveness. We're looking at the performance and the forgiveness side between the JPX921 Forged, soon to be replaced by the JPX923. That's coming in February, I assume, so that'll be an interesting one to test as well. Up against the Mizuno Pro 225. Now, obviously, there is only 1 degree of loft difference between these two. Shafts are exactly the same, blah, 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 blah. So it'll be a really interesting test to see which one performs better. And also for miss hits as to which one, obviously if you're a slightly higher handicapper that misses the middle more, and you want to know which one's more forgiving, then by all means, let's go check that one out. So we'll look at the average data first between Mizuno Pro 225 against JPX921 Forged, do the club data, and then we'll do the forgiveness. So on average, if you look at the ball speeds of the 225, you're looking at an average 121.5 miles an hour, launching at 18.8. We're spinning at 5.4 basically, going up 35 yards in the air and descending at 47.8 degrees. Carry on average is 175. If we look at straight away when it comes to the JPX921 Forged, average ball speed 121.3 against 121.5, 0.2 of a mile an hour in it. Launching at 18.4 against 18.8, so launching slightly lower than the 225. We're looking at 5.4 spin against 5.4 spin, so within a very small margin, exactly the same. You're looking at going up 35 yards and descending at 47.4 degrees against 47.8 degrees, so next to no difference whatsoever. And can you believe it? Yes, exactly the same carry at 175. So if we look at the club head data now to see what the differences are between the two, to see if we can see if they've created that distance any different way. 91.2 miles an hour when it comes to the Pro 225, efficiency 1.33, 3.8 down on the attack angle, 1.1 across, 0.8 open. 25 degrees of dynamic loft and 1 mil heel, 4 mil low is the average strike for the Pro 225. If we go straight away over to the JPX921 Forged, it's club head speed of 90.7 rather than 91.2. So I am half a mile an hour faster with the Pro 225, half a mile an hour faster. It's not a lot, half a mile an hour faster. A JPX921 Forged has got an efficiency of 1.34 against 1.33, but remember guys, that's rounding into the 0.005. Very small amounts. Attack angle 4.3 down, club path 0.8 across, face open by 0.8, so little baby fade. And loft 25.6 against 25. So there's 1 degree of static loft difference between 31 degrees for a Forged and 30 degrees for the 225. That translates into actual 0.6 of a degree, so not a lot at all, and it's 1 mil toe, 4 mil low against 1 mil heel, 4 mil low. So 1 mil either side of perfect and the same amount when it comes to the strike vertically. So we are very, very, very similar. If you look at how that's created when it comes to the dispersion rings, etc., it's such a small difference when it comes to it. I mean, they're both going the same distance in the air. When you're looking at the dispersion pattern as well, it's very small amounts. I mean, if you look at the left-hand side there, you've got 35 yards and 35 yards. You'd say there that the Pro 225 has it, but we're talking about so small differences. That is the difference between half a yard rounding. Nothing. They are basically identical. And then when you come to looking at the dispersion rings on the right-hand side, you choose. I'd have to hit another 50 shots and they'd still move around. One would win, the other one wouldn't, then one would win, then the other one wouldn't. So that's much of a muchness. And then when you look at the club data, as you can see there, that red and blue when it comes to the strike is 1 mil either side of exactly 0, and it is 4 mil low for both of them. So there's nothing there really which is changing anything at all. So let's now look at the forgiveness side. If they both basically perform exactly the same within half a degree of loft, let's go see how forgiving they are. So let's go Mizuno Pro 225 first. Right, 1.4 across face 0, so it will be basically going left slightly, 91 mile an hour club head speed, and 11 mil low, 4 mil toe. 11 mil low is very low on the face, and 174. So it's basically 1 yard, one less than average from an 11 mil low. Now remember guys, the 225 has a boatload of tungsten in it, 20 some odd grams or whatever it is of tungsten, 12 grams, 12, I can't remember how much, if I can remember I'll stick it up on the screen again. It's got a load of tungsten in it anyway. That is helping off-center hits and trying to promote extra height when you don't quite catch it, and it's done pretty well. 174, 1 yard, off. So next one, 85.7 miles an hour. That is a slow swing. 2.0 degrees from the inside, 0.9 closest little baby draw. 4 mil low, 10 mil heel. So 14 mil, yep, gross away from middle, and it is heel bound too. Has dropped yards, 169, has definitely from 175. Has it dropped from the 10 mil heel, 4 mil low, or has it dropped because I haven't swung it at the same speed, sort of 90 miles an hour? I was 85.7. I would say it's much more from the clubhead speed than it is anything to do with the strike. Remember guys, in that 225 you've got that tungsten working hard. Well, it doesn't work hard, it just sits there, but you know what I mean. It's working well to try and maintain ball speeds across the face. Right, if we go here 92 miles an hour, so clubhead speed back up again, 1.2 across, 2.4 open. Yep, that's a fade. 14 mil low, 13 heel. This was not a pleasant one. That didn't quite sting my hands, but I did feel it. So it has dropped to 165, so we've dropped 10 yards. 10 yards is quite a lot, but 14 mil low, 13 mil heel is a very bad strike. And if it's doing that well from that strike, I was amazed. It didn't feel nice whatsoever, and I was watching its flight. I'm thinking, well, that's doing pretty well. It did very, very well, considering. Okay, 90 miles an hour, 90.1, 0.8 from the outside, 0.6 open, so yeah, no, tiny delivery. 5 mil low, 15 toe. So it's 20 mil gross away from middle, 15 toe, 5 low, and it's gone 168 yards. So yes, has it lost some yards? It's lost 7 of them. I'm not surprised when you hit it 15 mil toe, 5 mil low, but that's just over half a club. I mean, that's pretty good from that strike. It's doing very well. Right, so let's go on to the 921 side of things to see how well that fares. 89.7 clubhead speed, 0.2 across, 3 open. That's a fade. Now, I did get a bit of face twist from this. I hit 11 mil heel, and if I remember this delivery, I could feel a fraction of face twist from it. So I was expecting that to fade. It did fade, but actually I was only 5.6 yards offline at 171 from 11 mil heel. That was pretty good. It's only lost 4 yards, and it's kept its line as well. Next one, 89.6 miles an hour, 1.7 across, 0.6 open, 12 mil low, 3 mil heel, 12 mil low. That's the worst bit. Has it lost distance? Yeah, it has. 165. That's low on the face. Half an inch is very, very low. If you imagine how big a golf ball is, and it's something, I can't remember. Anyway, I'll stick up on the screen if I can remember how big a golf ball is. And then what you're talking about, equator, and then with loft where you should be hitting it relative to that, you hitting it 12 mil low from that, there's not much left on the bottom of that golf club for you to hit it. It's still launching well at 16.6 considering how low it is, and spinning at 5.6, and it has lost a little bit of ball speed, yes, from the strike. It's done pretty well considering it's half an inch low. 9-to-1 forwards again, 90 miles an hour from the clubhead speed, 0.5 across, 0.2 closed. 9 mil low, 9 mil toe, and 171. Lost 4 yards from an 18 mil gross. Single digit miss, so it was okay, but you could still feel it. It still gives you the feedback to understand that you have missed it low toe. And it's lost 4 yards. It's done pretty well. 1.1 yards offline, well done. And I think the final one, we have 89.2 miles an hour clubhead speed, 0.2 across, 0.0 face, so decent delivery. And catch this one. 3 mil high, 20 mil toe. 20. 166 yards carry from a 20mm toe. Now, the 921 series, different to the 923, because, well, the 923 called it V chassis or something like that. Where it comes to the 921, they called it a power frame. Call it whatever you wish. When it comes to the 921, it likes toe strikes. It doesn't mind toe strikes whatsoever. It is quite forgiving off of toe strikes. So if you're a toe striker, then yeah, when it comes to a 921 forged or a 923 as well, they really do like off-center hits. When it comes to heels, generally speaking, when it comes to 921, it didn't really like heels that much because obviously you've got that substantial power frame in the 921 working to help the toe shots. This is 20mm toe. This is a massive, massive toe strike. And it's dropped 9 yards off of average. I was very surprised just how well it did from that strike. 166 is pretty good. It hasn't even dropped a club distance from 20mm. 23mm gross. That is a few millimeters away from an inch. Very, very good. Done well. Really did do well. So, conclusion basically between the 921 forged and the 225. If you're going to go for purist looks, you say to 225. 225 is more blade looking. It is a fat blade. Hot metal blade, basically. It is, if you were to put an airline in a 221 and you would get a chunky 225. But it still looks nice. It's still got decent lines to it, where the 921 is a unmistakable JPX. It has got that cavity as such at the back, the micro slot. It has got ribs and all these things that are trying to make it sound and feel, and it has got chromoly bits and pieces in it, and all the 921 series have all these interesting parts to try and maximize ball speed and maximize off-center hits. Now, if you were to look at the general mapping of the face of if you know where you're going to hit it, I would say the 225 is better off the heel strikes and slightly better off the low strikes, but it's marginal to a point of where they merge very similar off of low strikes. I think the 225 loses out a fraction on 921, and there will be also the upcoming 923 on toe strikes because of the fact that the 921 series with that power frame is built to work around toe strikes. So depending, obviously, where you know you hit, if you know you're a toe striker as a pattern, then I'm not saying the 225 won't work at all. It will. It's got that tungsten in there helping a lot. But the 921 forged has got that power frame, which is very much so helpful off of toe strikes. But again, that all comes down to if you know where you miss strike it. Obviously, we all like trying to hit the middle, but yeah, we do miss from time to time. And you know where you miss, you can make a better choice when it comes to selecting your next set of irons. So feel-wise, they both feel very, very good. I would say 225 has it just because of the copper underlay. The 921 forged is decent, and it is one of the best when it comes to the 921 range. Obviously, you've got the Hot Metal Pro, which they're cast. They're not bad, but you feel difference when you got to a 921 forged. And of course, you've got the Tour. Well, the Tour basically, I don't understand and never understood really why Mizuno make a JPX921 Tour or a 919 Tour or whether it be, because the Tour is basically a blade. That should be an MP. That's my own opinion. I'm not saying they're wrong. It's just how I see it. So looks each their own, feel each their own, performance. Basically, they do exactly the same thing, but marginally different. So yeah, there is a cost difference, definitely. But if you're an MP kind of person, Mizuno Pro, the 225 is going to give you everything that you want when it comes to that. And then if you're a game improvement kind of guy that doesn't mind seeing a bit more of a busy head, again, you got the JPX there, 921 and soon to be 923, and they're a bit more helpful off the toe. So anyway, I hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a good old thumbs up. YouTube likes it, so do I. While you're down there, there's a little subscribe button. There's a little red button. If you can click that one, it's free. It helps the channel no end. And while you're down there clicking subscribe, if you could put the bell icon on, give that a click if you can, because that will notify you next time I upload another video. So I hope you're well, and we'll see you again soon.